and welcome. The first job on my list for the garden today is to mulch these potatoes. They're about a foot high or less. I've got some King Edwards and something else. I can't remember what it was. It's a potato. They took ages to come up this year. I seem to be watching an empty bed for a very long time. About 3 weeks ago, they showed their first signs of life, and now they're romping away. So I'm going to get them covered in mulch. I've got some dry grass I'm going to mulch them with. Just before, I've noticed I've got some volunteer nasturtiums popping up in this bed. So I'm going to rescue them and put them into the flower meadow, let them grow there. Always happy to have extra free seedlings. Fantastic! Lots of extra free nasturtiums. Just what I need. So for the potatoes, I've got this very dry hay grass, and I'm just going to push it in around their stems. This layer of thick, dry, grassy mulch is going to help suppress any weeds that want to grow in amongst these potato plants, retain the moisture in the soil, as well as covering up any green potatoes that happen to be growing near the surface. Well, they only go green because they're growing near the surface and get exposed to the daylight. There we go, potatoes all mulched up with dry grass cuttings. And at the end of this bed is where I have the leeks and onions that stay here all year round. And I see that one of the leeks is about to flower. Well, I don't know about to, it's preparing a big fat flower bud. A big fat leek flower bud. There's a long spear at the end of it. Fascinating. Next job on my list of jobs for today is to empty out 2 random planters from spring bulbs, rescue the bulbs from inside and put them in a new hole in the flowering garden meadow. That's with my little helper. Let us see what we're doing. Can you come around this side of me? Thank you very much. Oh, if I can get them out. Oh my goodness, they're really tightly packed. No, don't put the hay in there. I want the hay to stay where it is, really. I'm going to put weeds into there in a minute. No, I don't know if these are daffodils or narcissus, I just know they're spring bulbs. So now they've finished flowering, yes, you can do something. We're rescuing these big white lumps out of here. You come around this side, you'll be able to reach. And these few weedy bits, I'm going to throw back into the barrow and we'll put them in the compost. Go on then, get down here. Right, we need to get the big white bits and pull them out. No, hold on to the white bit, not the leaf. Hold on to the white lump, that's it, and pull the white lump. There, that's what we want to plant. Now I'm going to keep that bit. I want that bit. That's not a weed. I'm keeping that. You get that one? You got it in your eye? You okay? Well, if you put that bit, put it in this tub a second. There we go. And we'll get some more of those. They're going to go in the new big hole. No, had enough. Bored already. Beautiful big bulbs. Like that's about. That should have a bulb on the bottom. Try and keep all the leaves attached. Lovely. They're nice healthy bulbs. Oh, nice. Put that in the tub. Oh, so many helpers. Keep that together as a cluster. really just one, giving me something to plant, and two, sorting out any weeds that might have been in this old compost. But can you take some of these? I'm going to leave them stuck together as a lump. And a couple of little baby ones they could go into. Very good. Got to keep these all joined together. Less root disturbance. Put them in a new hole in a flowering meadow.
Mum to do those ones.
I'm not taking them apart. You're going to put them in the meadow for me?
Yeah.
Right, let's push this out of the way so you can get up close. There we go. Right, put those, the whole lump, hold all of them together. Put your hands right around everything. There you go. And then put that into this hole. Brilliant. Now on these bulbs I can see where the whiteness of the stem is. That was all underneath the soil. So that's how deep I'm going to plant them now. Push it all back in. I'll have to dig another hole for some more of them. Yeah.
And there's some more in here.
There is. We can have 2 patches of bulbs. Ready to flower next year. So they can settle themselves in there. Ready to give us flowers next spring. And lots more to plant. Now this is very much the wrong time to be moving these bulbs. They won't be happy about it. Generally you would wait until the leaves have all died back and then just dig up the bulb and replant it. But while it's got leaves on, I know where it is. I can decide where it's going to go. I'm sure it'll be fine. Not its best move, but it'll recover. Now the compost from these pots is actually very nice compost, but it does have some small weeds in it. So I'm just going to add all of this to the big compost pile so it can carry on mixing up and decomposing in there, hopefully killing off those weeds in the process when they get deeply buried. I see I've got quite a few hazelnuts in here as well. That pot was sitting under the nut tree. Right, compost for this lot. Then a second pot to tip out. Now this second pot does have a buttercup growing in it that I want to get rid of as well. There we come. Whoa, a nice root system. A few empty snail shells. Well, I'm glad they're empty. Up we come. So I can't just plant the pot as it is, because I want to get rid of these weeds on the top. Just be planting my bulbs, not these weeds.
Shaking this lump of compost around to loosen up those roots and free my bulbs.
First 2. Pull them out from underneath.
This technique worked really well. Pull on the white bulb, drawing all the green leaves through the compost.
Really well.
Now I'm left with just the weed, and that can be thrown into the compost.
Hazelnut.
It's still a nut inside.
There possibly is.
Please open it.
I've got nothing to open it with. It's really hard.
Will you hold the hope?
Yeah, you need your nutcracker. Or some hard concrete and a big stompy boot. You got, ta-da! You got one as well.
Or we can,
It's not yours.
maybe we can bring those hazelnuts home.
We could take them to the house. See if we can break them open there.
Yeah, and we might
Thank you.
need to wash them because they're a bit dirty.
They're very dirty, been in the mud, aren't they?
So we need to wash them in the sink.
That would be a good idea.
And we can eat them.
Oh, I don't know, because they're very old hazelnuts, aren't they? But they might be okay for eating still.
Where?
And they were okay for eating. Yummy!
compost upside down. There we go, we got them all. Another clump of bulbs to plant in a flowering meadow. Slowly but surely we will fill it up with beautiful plants rather than weedy grass.
Oh, where's the Rosie?
Lots of woodlouses. I can see another one, there's two. One there, one there. Lots of woodlouses.
He can't get out.
She's stuck in the mud. Here he comes. Yay! Oh, you're burying him. Poor woodlouse.
He can't get out.
Right, let's get these bulbs planted. So this beautiful purple primrose did open up lots more flowers. It's also had a serious hammering from the slugs and snails. I have put a couple sprinkles of sluggo around here, but they still managed to get in at this purple primrose. Hopefully its root system will be strong enough to keep it going for next year. The Solomon seal that I couldn't remember the name of the other week is looking even more splendid. Now all its little flowers are on show. I have noticed a little bit of munch on a couple of leaves. Sawfly, I've discovered, is what causes it. Hopefully, where are we? This is all we're going to get, and it's not a sign of things to come. I shall just keep watching. I haven't seen the bug yet, the sawfly. And the purple iris I was showing you the other week, just with the beginnings of buds, is starting to open its beautiful flowers. I'm in close and get a real good look at it. There we go. And slowly back. Try and be slowly. Planted in this meadow grass, as I said before, you wouldn't know it was there until it starts to flower. Such a big adventure for one so little. And up in this hedge here, the lilac has just started flowering. It smells amazing. Let's go and take a closer look at those beautiful little flowers. Oh, someone coughing behind me. I wish we had smell-o-vision. It's gorgeous. They're so pretty too. The water lilies have started flowering. Beautiful. It's now early evening and the children have gone home. So I'm going to get these squash planted. I didn't want to plant them in the middle of the day. It's far too hot, and although it's going to be lovely and warm again tomorrow, at least they'll have had this evening to try and settle in a little bit. Now I have a mixed variety of squashes here. I know these big beefy boys are Crown Prince because they're the only ones I have that don't have a label. But I'm going to take all their labels out now and just plant the plants, all mixed up in whatever random fashion happens. I won't know what they are again until I start harvesting the squash fruits in the autumn. So what do we have? A honey bear, which is an F1, some Waltham butternut, some of my squash seed, they're probably from my bigger squashes, uchikuri, delicata, a firm favourite of mine, small and sweet. Oh, more delicata. Another label here, what's this? Here's my jumbo pink banana. Not very jumbo at the moment. Anything else? Any more labels? No, I've got all my labels. And my Crown Prince. No labels in those. I'm going to plant the squashes, mulch the squashes, give them a sprinkling of slug pellets and a net to try and protect them as much as I can until they get a little bit bigger. Let's get them in. I'm going to mulch around my nice new baby squash plants with this stuff called Strulch. It's an organic strawy mulch that apparently the slugs and snails are none too keen on. Now, how effective that is, I really can't say. I've used it before, it seems to be quite good, but I generally back up with some Sluggo pellets as well. If I'm protecting a plant, I'm going to do all I can to try and protect it. I like this Strulch, so you'll see it in a minute. It's a nice, fine, chopped up straw. It breaks down into the soil, so it's going to be good in the long run. And it looks pretty to start with, and it's easy to apply. The fact the slugs and snails are not supposed to like it is hopefully an added bonus. So if I can hold the camera still and stir up the Strulch, here's what it looks like in close-up. It's a beautiful mulch, even if it doesn't keep the slugs and snails away. It probably does a pretty good job. I'm just not going to be totally reliant on only it. I'm determined to get these squash plants a good start. It has a smell about it, this Strulch. I don't know if I could describe it. It's not unpleasant, sort of sweet. And I don't know, cattle feedish? Let's get it on those squash. So the first one into the pumpkin patch this year is going to be Crown Prince. I'm going to treat, oh, this soil's nice and moist. I'm going to treat all the pumpkins the same. Pumpkins, squash. Dig a hole.
Make sure my pot can fit.
Perfect. Now I'm going to fill this hole with water, even though the soil's looking moist. And wait a moment for that to soak away. I'm going to treat all the squash the same. I actually do the same with every plant I'm planting out of a pot. Dig its hole, fill the hole with water, and let it soak away before I plant my plant. I'm surprised how slow this is soaking away, maybe because the soil is still quite moist. This is dark and damp, lovely. Nice and crumbly too. Yeah, I think that's soaked enough. Putting my fingers on either side of the stem, just touching the compost soil, tip it up, give it a pat, and out he comes. Lovely roots. And into this nice new hole. There you go, Crown Prince, and a gentle pressing down into place. And some Strulch on top. Oh, get in the leaf joints there. Now the Strulch is going to act like any other mulch, suppress the weeds and keep in the moisture, and over time break down into the soil. Don't know why I'm patting it down. All fluffy is fine. There we go. Good ring of Strulch around this squash. Shake it off its leaves. As I said, I'm also going to scatter some Sluggo around.
Organic slug pellets.
As an extra backup, and cover it with a net to keep out the rabbits and the deer. Let's get the rest of the pumpkin patch planted. So I've taken all the labels out, so I don't know which sort of squash this one is. But this one has a very long stem before I reach these first two seed leaves. So I'm actually going to bury it right up to these two leaves, covering all of that stem with soil. One, it'll stop it being all loose and floppy in the ground, give it a bit of support. It's less for the slugs to eat, and hopefully it might sprout some roots out of this stem. Dig a hole big enough for the pot, or it needs to be deeper because I want to bury that stem.
Fill the hole with water and let that soak away. Then I'm ready to plant.
By planting this squash deeper, burying its stem, I'm also getting its roots deeper into the soil. So hopefully on those hot summer days, it'll be closer to any water source. Hopefully by then, it's taken its roots deep, deep down. Right, here we go, sunshine. And fill you in. Oh, that's a stone. We don't want that. Out there. Just the same as crown prints. Gentle squeeze, press it into place, and I'll get it some strulch.
Exactly the same as the first one. I'm going to put a nice layer of strulch around this newly planted squash.
Well, the sun's going down and I'm losing light. I've got the first net full of squash. How many plants? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I've got 8 squash plants in here, and I've got another crown prince I've planted all by himself in his own special pen. So in this rather overkill netting, I have 1 crown prince squash. Now I've put him in here all by himself because I had some really nice compost sitting in a heap in this spot. Now I would have planted more squash in here, but just up to the side of him, I've got a bit of a grassy issue encroaching on this space. So I'm going to cover that grass with fresh cut grassy mulch, nice and deep, to kill it off. But I can't wait to kill it off in order to plant my squash. They're ready to come out of their pots. But I want to make use of this nice hill of compost. So I've put my 1 crown prince in there, given him some netting to keep the rabbits and deer off, and the same as the others, a layer of strulch, and he's soon to get a quick sprinkling of slug pellets as well. There's really only room for 1 squash in this spot, so he's got the place all to himself. As it's a crown prince squash, it should be a nice big Halloween pumpkin-y size squash. He'll do very nicely here by himself. He's not far from the rest of them, and I've got another tentful to plant. But as I said, the sun's going down and soon going to be losing good lighting for the camera. So I'll say bye for now, and we'll see you next time.
No, not quite finished. There's a little bit more. I seem to remember this happened last time as well.
I managed to get a second net of squashies planted. I still have some plants left though. So this is my second net. Got a few squash left to go. Crown Prince, planted on his own. And where have we gone? There we go. First net I did this evening. So not a bad evening's work. 2 nets of squash.
Last bit for today, trying to
Can I
film
go far
with
enough
children.
to see them both? Just about. There we go. Next job for today, I've got 2 random planters full of bulbs from the spring off. You're planting a football. Gonna fish it out of the hole? Yeah, not on there. Good boy. Can you reach? Yay. Off. Good boy. Hey. Right, we'll try again, shall we? Yep, I'm trying to film this bit. You're right in the way between me and the camera.
If you've enjoyed today's video, click that like button and let me know. Click subscribe and YouTube will make sure you see my next video. Bye for now and thanks for watching. And remember, whatever you're doing, have fun doing it.